come to the 19th Boxing and Wrestling magazine videos. Picture of Mark Lewin there. Gone to the back to start. Yeah, got these here pictures of Luthez there fighting Orton. The referee Charlie Lay. It's Bob Orton. But again, I go for these results just to split up the boxing, so it's not just half and half, one boxing, one wrestling. So I come to these, and I was going through. There's a few names there around these in these times. The Mongolian Stomper, like I said, Mongolians have their own wrestling, etc. He's and going through, got the man mounting cannon. The great Mephisto says he beat Kazaya Nandor. Gino Brito beat Ivan Kalmikov, and Armand Hazin there, wrestler around him in his results, and Lord Anthony Lasdown. Obviously you've got the midget wrestlers, Pancho Lopez and Little Brutus, they're called. You've got Mad Dog Fashion and Ricky Ramirez. They were fighting in Omaha, and you've got Billy Red Cloud and Joe Quintero all competing on that bill. And Yukon Ike says he was thrown by Baron Otto von Krupp. Baron Otto von Krupp. It's quite a big name, double-barreled name. Vern Gagne says he tamed the Great Dane. Whoever that is, Pete Barrett won over Kenny J. Obviously, like I say, these are all works, as everyone knows with show wrestling. Gene Anderson lost to Billy Red Cloud. And you've got the Mongolian Stomper again, about him. Yeah, quite a lot about him. As I say, they do have quite a heritage with the wrestling. Like I was saying earlier, they have hundreds going for their national competition. And I said like the names earlier, there was a guy called Namkai who was a Tibetan monk. They say he was one of the best Mongolian style wrestlers ever. And Lugin Bayan monk, he was 10 times champion of Mongolia and an Olympic silver medalist, which is no mean feat to be the champion that many times. Hundreds go in for it. Like I said earlier, they have a lot of it's very sort of ritualised. They have an eagle dance at the beginning, and there's loads of rounds, hundreds go in for it, so you can fight quite a few to get to the final. But you get to like last 16, they say you're like a falcon. There's lots of animals involved. Falcon. If you get to the last 4, you become an elephant. And if you get to the final, you become a lion. And they call you a giant if you win it. So you become the giant. So bit of weird heritage in there. But like I say, Namkai was a famous Tibetan monk, and some say he was the best Mongolian wrestler ever, and Kwolagin Bayan monk was up there. But again, I'm going to go for the rest of these results here, and then go to some boxing in this magazine. So you've got Beaumont, Texas, another match, Bill Dromo and Dakota Mack overpowered Kurt and Skull von Struheim. Obviously, they're 2-2 matches. In other bouts, it's going through the monthly bouts actually. Dakota Mack won by disqualification over Kurt von Struhim. That's on another night. And Beatnik Rick was another wrestler. In straight falls, he drew with Ali Bay. And a bit more about Skull von Struman. He lost in another match against Duke Kiyomuka. It said Kiyomuka also disposed of Bob Hamby. And you got Paul Jones drew with Killer Cox. And he upset and beat Tito Kareem. And then went to a no contest with Bill Dromo. And then you got Cyclone Negro. He was too much for Duke Kiyomuka. And you got Nikita Molkovich buried Prince Ava, or beat him. That's it. About their description of beating him. Beat Prince Ava. And Paul Diamond beat Matt Murphy. He said he scratches Matt Murphy. And the Great Togo, Japanese-looking wrestler, stomped on Broadway Venus. That's a good name, Broadway Venus. But was held to a draw by Paul Diamond. And then Ramon and Alberto Torres stopped the Preacher and Mike Sharp. So let's go back to the boxing, page 17 of this magazine. So we're on the ratings. The ratings there. And it's just 10 at a time. So I'm going to go through these ones. So, heavyweight division. Obviously, they're calling him Cassius Clay at this time, from Kentucky. It's Louisville, Kentucky he come from. He was born. It says he won the title February 25th, 1964. And he'd fight Sonny Liston again to beat him again. Just throwing this in Lewiston, Maine. 25th of May 1965, I'm sure it was. Again, so we have number one challenger Doug Jones. That's the man he just fought before he beats Sonny Liston, Floyd Patterson. Obviously at this time, Patterson would have lost to Joe Hansen, and then twice to Liston. Ernest Terrell, or known as Ernest Terrell from Pennsylvania, and Cleveland Williams from Texas, Eddie Machen from California. Big tall guy, 6'6", Ernie Terrell. Zora Foley from Arizona. Carl Mildenberger from Germany. And he actually was involved in a sort of mixed boxing and wrestling match. And yeah, against Anuki, the guy who had the same wrestling and boxing 15-rounder against Muhammad Ali later on, just before he fought Ken Norton a third time. And George Chuvalo from Canada. Again, one of the best chins ever. Never put down, but stopped, but never put down. He ended up fighting Muhammad Ali twice. Say the next fight, he would have changed his name here to Muhammad Ali. Henry Cooper from England. He actually had a win over Zora Foley, but it's a bit disputed. Tony Alongi doesn't get mentioned. Really good record. It was a really, really good record he had. And he beat him by a few good guys. He got two draws against Quarry from Florida. Again, so we're going to go to light heavies. Harold Johnson. Where are we? Harold Johnson, Pennsylvania. The champion is Willie Pastrano from Florida. Angelo Dundee fighter. And Wayne Thornton from California. Number 2, Eddie Cotton, Washington. Number 3, Gregorio Peralta, Argentina. That's the guy who would take Foreman the distance before he won the title. And Johnny Purcell from New York. And Terry Downs from England, the fighting Marine, as was Paul Pender, who would fight. But he's from England, Terry Downs. Carl Bubble Wilson, the Hawaiian Punch from California. Gustav Schultz from Germany. Perio Del Papa from Italy. And Bob Foster. Cracking banger for a light heavy. Middleweight, Joey Giardello. And it's, Pastrano lost his title defence, it says, April the 10th, 1964. And Giardello won the title in the middleweight title, December the 7th, 1963. You got Rubin Hurricane Carter. That's the man. And Joey Archer, number 2, Dick Tiger for Nigeria. Joey Archer for New York. Jose Torres, Customato trained fighter from New York. Nino Benvenucci from Italy. They say his amateur record was 120-0. Laszlo Papp. And again, he won the Olympics either 2 or 3 times. I'm sure it's 3 times he won it. Turned pro very late. Due to the rules of his country. Georgie Benton from Pennsylvania. And again, he was good at the shoulder roll. Yeah, good at the shoulder roll, Georgie Benton. Skillful fighter. Florentino Fernandez, Florida. Joe Gonzalez, New York. And Joe DeNucci from Massachusetts. Yeah, so that's the end of the 19th Boxing and Wrestling Show Wrestling magazine videos. Bang.